Welcome back to another episode of Reel Chums, where chatting about movies feels like hanging out with friends. I'm your host, Marcel, and with me is always my co-host, Danny.
This week we are discussing the 1981 film, the legendary Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, directed by Steven Spielberg, with a screenplay by Lawrence Kasdan, George Lucas, and Philip Kaufman, starring Karen Allen, Paul Freeman, John Rhys-Davies, and much, much more. Dude, we kind of went last minute with this change.
Yeah, we did.
Which I'm totally happy with because, we got Indiana Jones coming up here soon.
Yeah, it's coming out soon, and I think our original plans were to each pick our favorite Indiana Jones, and then we started watching them from, like, the first one, and then I was like, oh, dude, I could talk for...
We can't.
Yeah, I don't know if we could do, like, 2 Indiana Jones in one episode.
No way, dude. I mean, we can.
We could.
It just wouldn't feel... We wouldn't do it justice.
Yeah.
This is about having conversations with friends.
Exactly. So I think today we're doing Raiders of the Lost Ark. Next week we'll do Temple of Doom.
Great. I love the Temple of Doom.
I have a lot of opinions on Temple of Doom.
Oh man, we gotta come up with merch. I feel like we need to have it's stacked 100%, and I have a lot of opinions. Oh. Anyways, let us know what other things you might want from merchandise.
A hat. Oh, yeah, I have a lot of opinions on this. On a hat.
You have the question today.
I have a question for you.
Bring it.
Okay, let's say you are heading out on an exploration, an archaeological dig. Okay. You know there's some supernatural elements to this exploration, and you have the option of bringing Indiana Jones or Rick O'Connell, Brendan Fraser's character from the Mummy movies.
Oh, okay. Did not see that one coming.
Who are you taking on this exploration?
Dang it, this is really hard. Okay, so we gotta. So Indiana Jones is quick on his feet, can throw a punch. Okay. What's his name? Freaking Rick, always complaining, but somehow... Always complaining, but somehow handles his own. Okay?
Yeah, he does.
And he's a little... they both kind of have this weird, they can get themselves into danger because they're there. Mm-hmm. I think I would have to go with Rick because I just think it'd be way more of an adventure. Because he would be...
Are you sure?
Yes, absolutely. Because then I look like the awesome hero.
Okay.
And he looks like an idiot.
All right. Okay. All right, I can see that.
Because then I'm playing C character next to Indiana Jones.
That's true. Okay, I can see that. All right, that's a good point.
I want to be the hero of my own movie, Marcel.
Oh, makes sense, of course. Right.
Let me guess.
I would go with it. I would go with Indy.
I know.
I'll tell you why.
Tell me why.
Indy
has a whip.
Yes, he has a whip. But he's an archaeologist. So whereas Rick is only good in that specific knowing the story of the mummy.
Yeah.
Of Imhotep.
Yep.
He's only good in the other ones because Evie, his wife,
is the
brains,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Whereas Indy, the guy is well rounded in all kinds of regions, dialects, etc.
See, again, I'm the freaking main character next to Rick. Okay.
But I'm gonna survive though. You're the main character that's gonna die.
Are you saying I'm gonna die? Wow. Marcel, I can't believe that. Let us know in the comments, who would you choose?
Yeah, let us know.
No, that's a pretty good, great question. I did not see that coming. I was expecting something very different for some reason. Side question: Who handles the whip better, Indiana Jones or Zorro?
Indy.
Okay. I don't know if I agree. Yeah.
Zorro uses it mainly for... What does Zorro use it for? I think
well, I guess I'm thinking of Antonio Banderas and who's the old Zorro? We need another Zorro, bro. You know who I'm talking about, though.
Yes.
Super iconic, low voice, like
Yeah.
super suave, even as an old dude.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. Anyways, we one day we'll do Zorro. It's also one of my favorite movies.
Yes. One day we will come back to Zorro.
Oh my goodness.
I hope to make another one. Not necessarily Antonio Banderas, but like it's such a valuable IP, man.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. If I had a choice of a film, I would do Zorro.
This is it.
I would do Zorro.
Wow.
I've actually thought recently. I'm like, I wonder if I could like. Can I do a new adaptation, or could I like? How could I tell a Zorro story that's like slightly different? That like I've been thinking about this. Like I don't know. It's been like a year. Maybe it's kind of like been floating up there. I haven't voiced it.
This is your passion project.
Possibly, yeah.
Okay, man. In 10 years, like
10 years.
Cast me in this movie.
Let's go. Marcel's the old Zorro,
Old overweight Zorro, man.
who can still freaking handle a sword and a whip.
And a whip, yeah.
Good stuff. Indiana Jones.
Okay, let's talk indie, man.
He's fun.
This is fun. I hadn't seen this in a couple of years.
Dude, years for me.
Yeah. Let's kind of start off with like our relationship with these movies. I'd love to know like what is that relationship for you?
I think you need to start first.
I'll start it. I love these movies. Okay. I mean, anytime it was on TV, I'd always watch it, right? I do think that I'm pretty sure, I'm like 98% sure, my first indie movie was The Last Crusade.
Okay.
And then I watched Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then got around to Temple of Doom. So my love for indie is based on The Last Crusade. And that's my favorite movie.
Interesting. Okay. Do you know how old you were when you watched it?
I must have been like 7.
Young.
Yeah, I was young. And then like over the years, I would watch these. Yeah.
Dude, I do not remember the first movie I watched. In fact, I like mushed the 3 movies somehow together. Like I know, I was saying, like, is this the one with the melting face? I'm like, I don't know. I don't think that's maybe it's Temple of Doom. No, sure enough,
no, it's this one.
And then, like, you cheat, Dr. Jones. You cheat. Like I'm like, I had a friend who's like, he loved Indiana Jones.
Okay.
I don't think I actually fully watched a full Indiana Jones until I was like maybe late junior high, maybe early high school. And so I don't not have a love for them, but I don't like, I just didn't like everyone always talk about Indiana Jones and whatever. I did see Skull, the Crystal Skull, and with friends because, you know, they love it. And I was like, you know, like it's great. I mean, Indiana Jones is a fun character. And so, I think this is one of those films, like, I'm glad I didn't love it as much as a kid, because I think now when I watch them, there's something about them to me that I don't see the, like, I mean, there's something about like the fun adventure as a kid watching Indiana Jones, right? You're like, oh, he's going to like Archaeologist is the boring. It's boring.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how many archaeologists are out there like doing freaking rocking a whip, okay, pissing off their you know their third, maybe their 27 and their 20-year-old girlfriend who comes back 10 years later and pissing them off. But what I'm saying is, like, it just makes it feel exciting and fun, and you're like, I want to do that.
Yeah,
I want to go explore the world and maybe encounter. You know, like the save history.
Save history. This belongs in a museum.
Yeah,
I love that line from these movies.
I know,
but no, I think that's like my love as a kid. Yes, was the adventure aspect of it. Like, oh, cool, like having a whip and the look and just the adventure. Whereas now as an adult, like I really like enjoy these movies a lot more. And we'll talk about Temple of Doom because that's my least favorite. But as we were watching it for the show, I've swayed a little bit towards it.
So my thing is like, I mean, I think we gotta start with like the fact that like, you know, the mastermind, like who this, you know, we have Spielberg, George Lucas. I mean, like.
So this is 1981, right?
Yes.
So this is after A New Hope.
Correct.
Is it after Empire?
I don't know. I don't have my. I
can't remember. I think Empire came out.
I think it maybe or like yeah. I think it's like in between.
Yeah. So I mean, so the story is that Steven Spielberg always wanted to make a James Bond movie, and up to this point, you had to be British to make a James Bond, and so George just told him like, why don't we make our own version of it?
And they made Indiana Jones.
And then they made Indiana Jones. And then obviously they took inspiration from like the old pulp serials of the 30s and the 40s. And then made their version of James Bond, which you see a lot of like characteristics, not as what's the word I'm looking for? Not as misogynistic.
Yeah, that's fair.
As
that's
James, of this time, right? So it's interesting how they approached the creation of Indiana Jones from that aspect. They're not allowed to make a James Bond movie, so let's do our own. But let's take that character and put him in a setting in the 30s, and instead of going up against secret agents and governments, we'll have them go up against like the Nazis.
Yeah.
But so that aspect I think is genius. And my favorite thing about these movies is the fact I just love a good beatdown of a Nazi, man. Like,
dude, that's good facts.
It's such a like I just
satisfying.
love. It's so satisfying.
Okay, so here's my thing about this film. So I'm watching it with Sadie, and I'm realizing, like, was this like a regular thing at this time of I mean, this is a historical fiction, right? So like granted, but like, were Nazis like allowed to like? In my mind, I think about this time, and I just think about Nazis like doing atrocities, and then like, you know, like Hitler trying to take all these artifacts and things like that, and then like the world fighting. But in my mind, I just imagine them in like the World War battlefield, and I don't think them anywhere else.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, but I'm like, I know at this time, I'm like, what are they doing? Like taking trips to like with giant armies to other countries? Like, how is this like? How are other countries not involved?
No,
other than Indiana
point.
Jones.
Well, I mean,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But like in like actual history, that's my like these are one of the things that I do think that Indiana Jones, to at least to me, and hopefully to a lot of people, like sparks the conversation about history and about like the things that were impacted. Because I mean, like they took inspiration from World War II and like the things that like did happen. Hitler did stash tons and tons of artifacts because he was weird.
To say the least.
Yeah. And so, but like, I just was in my mind, I'm like, they're just like going places, like as giant Nazi gang members.
It's an entire army.
Right?
No, that's a good point. Yeah.
Have you thought about that?
That's a good point. Yeah. Also, here's a question for you. Let's say they get a hold of the Ark. Okay. They bring it back to middle of Berlin. I don't know. Hitler decides, we're going to take this to London, open it up, and what? Like, everyone dies?
Yeah. I don't know.
And eventually people would be...
Dude, I mean...
Eventually someone will be like, close your eyes, and then, oh, okay, all right, now we're good. Let's pick it up and take it to the next city. Like, what was Hitler's plan in weaponizing this?
I don't think they thought it was weaponized. I think the whole thing is that, like, they just wanted the artifact, and then the one guy who's like their archaeologist, what's his name?
Belloc?
Is it?
No,
it's not. No. The like germ. So Indiana's like rival who sides with
Belloc.
Yeah, Belloc.
Yeah.
Okay, so Belloc. I'm terrible with names with these movies. Belloc is over there because I haven't watched them enough. You're like, sure, Danny. Whatever.
Whatever, man. Go ahead.
So Belloc is over there, and he's doing the whole thing, like his ritual, and he wants to he's doing it for the archaeology and for like the discovery. I don't think Germans are over there just trying to do it because like they're holding it.
Well, no, because like when the CIA was, no, it wasn't the CIA. It was when like the government officials show up to campus, right?
Yeah.
And they're in that scene. They bring up the fact like this is the power of God.
But it's all speculative,
right? And that's their concern is imagine this in the hands of the Nazis, right?
Yeah.
Like what will they achieve?
I guess I took it as speculative. They're like, we don't know what's going to happen with this box, and so they're like, if they get their hands on it, like it could be good, it could be bad.
Sure,
they can't have this. We don't. These movies just like you don't give anything to the Nazis. Just don't do it.
Don't give anything to the Nazis.
You know what I mean? That was like the moral of the story.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all she wrote.
That's all she wrote. Talking about Indiana though.
Oh, sorry. Wait.
Yeah.
To answer your question, like they probably two things would have happened. One of two things.
Uh-huh.
One, they open it, everyone dies. World War II, Germany's safe. Someone figures out they go in and they close the box. Or two, everyone turns into Bird Box and they have to wear blindfolds and they can't. Is it right? Is that Bird Box?
Yeah,
right?
it's Bird Box. Yeah, I like that. Okay, we'll go with that one. No, also like the idea of weaponizing this. One, it's really cool, but maybe we don't understand the mechanics of how the Ark works, right? We're speculating so much here. We're digressing, but this is why I like that one. Anyways, maybe it only kills Nazis because they're horrible.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe you drop it in the middle of London. You ship it out to London from Nazi Germany. Okay. It gets there. They open it up, and it doesn't kill anyone because it only kills the Nazis.
Do you think that maybe it's because he said the incantation wrong because he didn't actually translate it properly?
Ooh.
Because like he's got to do. I mean, do they have to do that every single time they open the box? Do some sort of like ritual, which is very very gospel, very Old Testament.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know.
Yeah,
all I'm saying is like there's a lot of R&D that has to go into this thing, and I don't think they would make it past the first round. They obviously didn't.
And maybe the reason why the U.S. government never weaponized it again. Yeah. I love the fact that it's just stashed in this warehouse.
With other boxes?
What else is in those boxes?
I don't know.
I know that in Crystal's Skull they bring that scene again.
Yeah.
But I just love the idea of this massive warehouse.
Are we going to review Crystal Skull?
We are not going to.
Okay, then I'm going to tell you my thing. I think that whole movie...
Wait, hold on. Unless the listeners really want us to review it,
it'll go in our unreviewable reviews in our Patreon or paid service or whatever.
Along with Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah, okay. Man, we're going to put a list together so that people can vote on it. When we get to that point.
But no, tell me your thoughts.
Okay, so here's my like really side thing with the freaking Crystal Skull. I think that whole movie would have been so much better if at the very end they said was like, have like the alien kind of like weird glowy thing.
Okay.
And they're like all was like, take me to your master. like completely standard alien thing that everyone thinks about. I just think that would have been so much funnier. It just would have been like the whole thing. I was like, what is happening right now?
I'll be honest. That movie, I watched it and I was just like, what? This does not feel.
Oh, no, dude.
Like, what happened here? And then like, I've never seen it again.
Yeah, me neither. But all I can think about is I just wish that one scene with the alien it's had like...
Take me to your leader.
Take me to your leader.
Yeah.
It would have been freaking gold. Like, they teed it up perfectly.
They did. Such a letdown. Freaking George. He took over that movie way too much.
Okay. Back to
Indy.
Back to Indy.
We were talking about this off camera.
Okay. Yeah, we were.
About that first scene.
This whole first sequence. This whole first opening act.
Yeah. It is... here's why I love this scene. Okay. This isn't this is an original character at this time, right? This isn't Superman, Batman.
This is
original character. And you introduce him. We learn everything about Indiana in this opening sequence. And none of what happens in this sequence, besides the introduction of Belloc, matters to the rest of the story. We don't bring up the idol. We don't bring up anything from here. This is just pure character development.
Yes.
And I love you brought up the use of like shadows.
Oh my gosh. Look, no, not only the use of shadows. Okay, this opening scene is packed with cuts. It is packed with like showing, not telling. It's packed with like character blocking. I like someone else watched this movie recently on Twitter that I don't even follow. They just showed up on the For You or whatever, and they were breaking down the fact that like he comes in fast, and I truly, because I think part of it is like a lot of times I think of like the latter half of this one, because he does in a lot of cases they like he starts off really strong and then he like slows it down in the Indiana Jones. Like I mean, there's still action and stuff. There's a lot of stuff there, but like if like there's something about, especially in this first one, the like introductory, like getting us into where he's at as Indiana Jones, right? And the fact that we get that like we get to know him, and I think this is part of the reason why so many people love Indiana Jones, is that this opening sequence, you get him trying to do like not a heist, but like he's trying to get this artifact. Whole bunch of stuff goes like, you know, goes awry. And it's like him with the whip. All these little things like showcasing him as just like this, like an adventurer. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you go cut to boring Indy teaching class with women trying to wish, like college girls wishing they could be with him.
With Indy wearing these glasses.
The most professorial clothing that you're like, wait, is this the same guy?
It's the same guy. I also want to point out, okay, over the next three episodes, I want to point out the use of his glasses. Why? Like,
why does he need the glasses?
Why does he need these glasses for?
Is he nearsighted and he just can't like read without glasses?
But yet
he can use a whip and freaking and hold his own with a giant guy boxing.
I don't know why it stood out to me this time. Like, what's the point of these glasses?
What's the point? I mean,
I love it though. Maybe it's this like Clark Kent feel for it. Maybe he feels like he takes on this different persona with the glasses. I don't know, but I love it.
There's something. I'm gonna keep more of an eye.
Yeah, keep an eye out for the next ones.
I mean, I think the other thing is like, you know, it feels very a lot of these scenes feel very like theater based. Like, I mean, there's scenes. There's the two things that are huge, right? To me is like, one is when he gets approval to be able to go on the expedition. They like the use of blocking, the use of camera switch, because it's a oneer. It's like a one, and the whole thing is prepping, and it ends with so much like you've got exposition, you've got like a lot of storytelling just in that one that oneer. But then also with the CIA / Homeland, I don't know, freaking FBI or something. I don't know what those guys are. Yeah, I can't. Yeah. Anyways,
1936. I mean, the FBI was.
No, they weren't. They weren't. But like, these guys come in to talk to these professors. Obviously, he's got some sort of relationship with them, like to some degree. Yeah. But the blocking and the use of like the framing in that sequence again, and the use of cutting, the use of alternating between the two actors, and like having kind of like a verbal battle between the two of them, kind of, it is truly like we could break down that whole sequence of like sitting down of like this is how you feel a shot. Not only like he used his framing always, which is so good.
And I love that you brought up earlier, like it's a perfect example of showing and not telling.
Oh, 100%.
Right? Like we learn everything about Indiana by like showing, right? We see how he approaches his love for archaeology. We see how he takes this reverence to it, but this adventure side of it to it all as well. And again, going back to that like scene where they just show us his shadow, like what a smart way to like not show him, but to show his shadow. And again, we don't know the whole hat, the whip, the look of Indiana at this point, but we see it and it's like, boom, here's your hero.
Yeah.
He's not wearing a cape. He's no Superman. He doesn't have horns like Batman. Like, this is it. And like, you're committing us as a viewer to say, this is who we're cheering for. Here's who it is. And like, just through a shadow, right? And then later on, like, I want to bring up like Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one. Mm-hmm. That movie has a very similar homage to Indiana Jones with Star-Lord going and getting
the orb thingy.
Yeah, right? At the end of that one, Star-Lord is successful. He gets it. The bad guys show up and he like shoots his way out and he leaves with the orb.
Yes.
Indy doesn't.
Yes.
And it's so great to like build him up to be this awesome, cool adventurer. He's scrappy. He's making his way out. Like he's smart. But at the end of the day, he doesn't get the artifact.
Yeah.
And I just love that because it's a character that
doesn't always win. Dude, come on. Listen, it just goes to show that sometimes just because you have a character that is good at what they do doesn't mean they deserve, or in this, like, as creators, as storytellers, doesn't mean that they should always get the thing that they're looking for.
Yeah.
Right. This movie period is got so many different moments. You're like, this is the thing is like you're like, why he's always losing in a lot of cases, right?
Yeah.
He loses the girl. He thinks she dies.
That's right.
Who? Come on, listen. I forget. It's funny that I actually didn't know that they based this off of James Bond. This is how much I have not really looked into Indiana Jones. But Karen Allen as the female, like, not sidekick, like, interest. A couple of things about it. One, I love that she's like a strong woman.
Yeah.
Like, she punches him. She's like, I learned how to punch you in the last 10 years. That's the first line she gives him. But beautiful, charismatic.
Karen Allen is super pretty, man.
Yeah.
I forget. Like, she's pretty in this movie. Yeah.
And then on top of that, my whole situation is the dialogue that goes between her and Indy. I'm like, what history do they have?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I want the juicy details.
And it's so good, her introduction as a character,
Yes.
right? Where her kidneys probably shot from all the drinking that she does.
Apparently not. She freaking...
But I mean, she can go toe to toe with anyone.
Yeah.
Not just Indy, right?
No.
Anyone. And at this point, like, we learn about their history, a little bit about their history, right? And she checks him, like, she puts him in his place, which is great because we had just seen all the students just googly eye all over him, right? And
Yes.
here's this strong, independent business owner, right? She owns her own bar, just putting him in his place and like telling him to leave and get out, right? And so she is so well written, which is part of part of my issues with Temple of Doom.
Oh, yes.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to it eventually. So my thing with I do appreciate that not only does she put Indy in his place, but that she, like, this character dynamic feels very relatable. Like, it feels less like dreamy or like James. When you watch James Bond, it's like going in, he's like Rico Suave. He's James Bond. He goes in like any girl's coming, falling for him. No, we get the same feel, but he's also a professor. He's pretty young. He's good looking, right? And he's in a place where like they like in a thing where it's probably just a checkbox for college credit, right? But he is so passionate about what he does that he doesn't have room, at least to this point, to have a family. He's career oriented, but on top of that, has made mistakes. In this film, we get a sense of like he like really does care for this for Marion, and but I like there is a little bit of me that like wishes, because we get like a little like graphical montage of travels. Not even just like the little like line.
The little airplane.
Yeah. Which is classic this era.
Yeah.
But we don't get much like they kind of rekindle something, and then they have a whole fight chase scene in Morocco.
No, it's in
somewhere
in India.
Yeah, somewhere in India. That's what it is. With a like. There's a little bit of like I wanted more interaction with them before she dies and goes missing. Not to say we don't get there wasn't. I think the thing is like there's enough for us to be committed to the fact that he cares for her and she cares for him. But to me, I just wish there was a little bit more.
Sure, no, I can see that. I also think that plays off to him as a character of he's invested. He has a love for her. To the point where when he meets up with her again and she's been caught and she's in a tent and he's about to release her and he's like, oh wait, no, I'm gonna leave you here because if I let you go, they know that I'm here, and he just leaves her there, right?
Yes.
And so it goes back to like his character of like, yes, he's a professional, yet he's put all of it, he's put his life on hold for his career, and he's going to leave her behind. Even though, who knows what could happen to her, he's going to leave her behind too so that he can get to the well of whatever, right, first.
Yeah.
And I just love that decision for him to just kind of like, you see Harrison just process it and he's like, yeah, no, I'm leaving you because then they'll come get me. I love the characterization of Indiana Jones. And going back to like him as James Bond, right? Like, I think James Bond is written as a man who will use anyone and anything to get, to
do what he wants.
To do what he wants, right? Whereas here, he has feelings for her. And he's going to leave her behind, but there is a level of emotion and reasoning to it that you don't see from like a James Bond character. At least a James Bond character from these times.
Yeah. Watching it this time, I appreciate it more than I've ever have. And I don't know if it's because like I didn't really grow up, like I didn't personally grow up watching these films. I probably watched Zorro way more than I watched any of the Indiana Jones.
Really?
Dude, yes. I'm telling you, I only watched like them parts and pieces because of TV or whatever, and I just didn't like. I think part of it was like my parents were never like didn't even like that. What they weren't like into it. Like, I don't think my mom's ever seen Indiana Jones, and if she has, Mom, if you have, let me know. But
I don't believe that, man. If she's a Latina like my mom, every Latina loves Harrison Ford in the 80s, dude. I love Harrison Ford in the 80s. My wife was watching this. She's like, that Harrison Ford.
He's good looking.
Jeez, man, that Harrison Ford.
No, but I just don't remember.
Yeah.
Because like when I think about my childhood and like us as kids, I think part of it, adults kind of were like, okay, we'll let you watch it, but I'm going to watch it with you.
Yeah.
You know, did you watch it with your parents? Or with an older brother?
Yeah, no, the first one, again, Last Crusade, I watched it with my parents, brothers. I think it was Raiders that my dad was like, oh, I'll watch it with you because like the ending is a little bit scary. And Temple of Doom was always like, oh no, this one.
Yeah, you can't watch this one.
You can't watch this one.
Yeah, I don't think it. I don't know. I don't remember if I had that. I fully don't remember. Like, I don't remember fully watching one from beginning to end. in my mind. And so like that's why I'm like, to me, and so I don't have like a huge connection other than he's cool, you know, like the whip, the iconic lines.
Yeah.
Like
the music.
The music. Oh, dude, the music. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, man, the music is carrying this at some points. I was like, if the music wasn't here, this would be a very, very different movie.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, it's the 80s. So you have that whole situation. Yeah. Anyways.
I want to talk Belloc.
Yes, Belloc.
Dude, Paul Freeman is so good in this. I forget, like, I
wish he had more screen time.
I also, like, you believe again, going back to, like, the history between Marion and Indy, you believe the history and the rivalry between these two characters.
Yes.
And it is, excuse me, man, that cough is still around. Jeez. It is so palpable, though. And then when he thinks that Marion has died, and like the thugs lead him back, and there's Belloc just sitting there, right? Like you believe that he will kill him.
Yeah.
Then and there.
And he's willing to give his life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Belloc is such a great antagonist in the sense that they're both archaeologists in their own way. Mm-hmm. Indy's more hands-on. He will get in there. He'll get dirty, and he'll do the exploration, whereas Belloc does not.
Yeah.
Even in like the costume design, Indy versus what Belloc wears, right? Mm-hmm. So they're like the perfect opposites to one another.
Yes.
They're the same. They're two sides of the same coin, right? And I just love that. And it's such a cool character. It's a shame that like it's not a character that you could have used recurring in other movies, but he's awesome in this movie.
The thing I've always appreciated about Indiana Jones when I watch him is I do appreciate that we don't have full context.
Yeah.
For Indiana Jones, like his, other than, you know, like as we get into some of these other movies, and I think this last one, the next one that we're gonna have probably a lot more of it, right? With like referencing some of these older films and things like that. But like with writing, especially with this one, I love that they give us these moments with, you know, Belloc, with Marion, with his his like boss at the university. Mm-hmm. That he's got these relationships. It feels so much like I have friends come over, like that come into the studio, and I'm like, oh yeah, hey, this is Sean, or like, hey, you know, like, this is my buddy from, you know, back in college days. Like, we have these connections, we have these little moments, you interact with them, and then you go about your day in your life, but you have these interactions with different moments of different people's of the different people in your lives and spheres, period. And I think that like they really mastered that, not only in writing, but in like the storytelling of it, of each of the characters, that I don't think we get often very much. I'm trying to think of the last one that I feel like another film that does this well. And I don't know if I have like one off the top of my head.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I think it's done really well from the screenplay to the story, also from the delivery of the character, of the actors, right? Like the introduction of Sala. Mm-hmm. You believe that they have this history.
Yes.
You believe that there's a friendship there.
Yep.
Even that Marion knows him, right? Who knows from what or how, but like you believe that. And I think it's so well fleshed out. I think one of my favorite movies, I think the one movie that does this really well is Ocean's 11.
Yes.
Right? There's a history that Rusty and George Clooney's character have with everyone that it's palpable, it's believable. You know that there's history there, but yeah.
Heist movies tend to have a little bit of that, quite a bit in those scenarios.
Which at its core, this is essentially a heist movie too.
Yeah. Right? You know, the China heist from the history.
Yeah. Yeah.
That whole, you know, like this, it's just a pen, right? Or what does he say? What is it? What does he reference?
The glasses.
The glasses.
No. The hand or the pocket watch.
The pocket watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, but you bury this for a couple of years and now it's
it'll be worth thousands.
Worth
Right?
thousands because it's part of history. And so,
I want to ask you about action sequences.
dude, bring it.
Which is your favorite of all of them?
Which one is my favorite
Of the action sequences?
I think out of all of the action sequences, it's probably got to be the bomber. I mean the airplane.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The fight.
Yeah.
The fight. Because one, it's fun to watch. It's a terrible way to die.
It's a fun way to see a freaking Nazi die.
I think part of it is he's trying to get out. He's trying to be sneaky, but this big guy comes out and he's just laughing. He's like, "Dude, this would be a good time. Let's go." And also just I don't know. It feels very the whole sequence just feels very indie.
Uh-huh.
He's going up against a dude. He's holding his own. How he's not completely bruised the next day, I don't fully understand. Movie magic. I don't think that ages well in the sense of that, but it's fun. I love that. Marion hops in the freaking cockpit. She's shooting guns, she's blowing stuff up. Everything's always blowing up.
Yeah.
I'm like, did everyone just carry around gasoline all the time?
It's the 1930s. Duh.
So that's probably my favorite scene. Your favorite action scene?
I love the car sequence. Right after this, right?
Yes.
He gets on the horse.
Yes.
And then he just jumps from car to car, throwing guys out of the car. But I think what I really love about it, and I think this is what I appreciate about this movie, that's Harrison Ford. Yes, there's a stunt double, right, when he's going under the truck, but that's him, on a car, and the camera's following them, and he is there, doing these stunts, and it feels so real. And going back to your favorite scene, the propellers, they're prop propellers, but those are real propellers.
That's spinning.
It's spinning.
Yes,
and it gives a sense of realism and of danger.
Yes,
right.
Yeah.
Where I feel like a movie nowadays would just CGI those propellers in there.
Yeah.
Right. But no, that those things are spinning.
Yes.
And the plane is going in circles too. It just feels so.
Everything. There's some. I think part of it is these movies hold up in the sense of the action because they're practical.
Yeah.
That's something that I think I appreciate when more movies do that. I'm willing to stand that Captain America: Civil War will go down as one of the best Marvel movies because they did so many things practically that it's going to hold its own for such way longer than many of the other ones, right? Many of the movies that are coming out that are action sequences that have these that John Wick, everything's for them, they're being practical, they're being hands-on, things like this. Those are the things that really help add that realism, the sense of danger or suspense or whatever it might be.
Yeah, I think this time it really hit me. This time it just felt so real, right? The danger of it.
I have one beef with the car scene.
Tell me.
The one beef I have with the car scene is literally, I'm like, what is Indiana Jones drinking? Because I need some of it. Because he freaking just dukes it out with this German guy. Then hops on a horse immediately after to go on and hop on a car, chase these guys down, and then get smashed and then thrown out the window, holding on to this Mercedes grill.
Yeah.
And then climbs himself down
under the truck
and back over and does the same thing to the other guy, and the other guy can't hold on to the thing.
I love it. Are you kidding me? It's great.
I don't understand.
It is awesome.
I'm not saying it's not awesome. I'm just saying that halfway through that sequence, I'm like, what is Indiana Jones drinking? Because I need his bowl of Cheerios in the morning.
I love it. I love how he just climbs off to the side and then once again opens the door and just starts beating the guy and eventually just throws him out. It is so good. I really love that car sequence.
It's fun.
It's fun. You feel it. I love the practical use. You talked about John Wick. I just actually recently watched Extraction.
You did?
Yeah. In that car sequence. It's these moments in actions movies that bring the realism to it and bring the danger.
Yes.
And
I'm so excited that you watched Extraction.
Whether it's Chris Hemsworth in that car sequence, that long shot effect for like 15 minutes,
dude,
or Harrison Ford here, like going under a truck and like climbing and like throwing people out the car, and in a car that's actually driving. I love it. It's so great, and I think it's my favorite scene.
Okay, let's talk. Can we talk about like the different like Indiana Jones, both I don't know, wins and losses in this film, like his like the things he's like succeeded at / also things he's like failed at.
So much.
Okay, so wait. One first thing I want to start off with is the excavation for the real excavation for the Ark.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Okay. How did no one see that before they went to bed? Sorry, let me see that. That was probably a little too loud. How did no one see that? I mean, it's a success that they did not get caught in the middle of the night. Freaking digging while everyone's going to sleep.
No, you're right. Did they have like? I guess they didn't have any like lighting shining down there, right? But still.
Did you see how much they were excavating?
No, that's a good point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then they get the whole thing. Then they have to get some sort of crane thing to get them. You know, like the whole
that crate to get it down there.
Yeah. Where did they get the crate from? They steal it from the downstairs crew.
Well, the crew is Sala's crew, right?
I know.
Yeah. So I mean, he could have just been like, "Oh, just bring that crate over here." I'm defending this movie. What do you mean?
I don't have any. I'm just
no. I know.
I just love like the thing about this movie is that like I don't really care that it doesn't really like. I'm like I have questions about these boxes, but it doesn't really matter. I'm like I know they got the box from the Nazis.
Yeah.
They just saw it as like, hey, yo, these guys have 100 boxes. And they don't need the box.
They don't need the box.
I'm like. That was like a win, but at the very same time, he still gets caught in the morning.
He gets caught the next morning, yeah.
Don't get me wrong. The fact that his team gets... They figure it out. That is probably one of my... Like, another one of my favorite scenes is his, like, full-on archaeologist in, like, the, like, crevice with the staff, having the right... and getting it to the right spot. He's alone. And it's like this little thing, but I think to me, it just epitomizes that like he's an archaeologist.
Yeah. He's an archaeologist first, and then a brawler second, right?
A brawler. That's a perfect. That's the name of the episode. The perfect archaeologist. Archaeologist first, brawler second.
More fails. Let's see. Here's one. So Marion in the script is said that she's 25 years old.
She is 25 years old?
Yeah.
In the script?
Yeah. Which means Harrison Ford was about 37 when he filmed this movie. And Marion's about, I think Karen Allen in the movie, she's like 26 as well. Mm-hmm. So that means that, look, let's address it.
Yeah, no, he was dating a younger...
Indy was dating a 15-year-old.
So, okay, but the question is, was he in... So, like, do we know how old he is in the actual script?
How old Indy is?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so this is my theory, okay? Because I had the same thought. I was like, is that he probably was a college student with Marion's dad, being trained under him, and... He had a fling with Marion. Yeah,
which I take that also because he says that they had a falling out, right?
Right.
I believe maybe the way that the breakup is what caused the falling out.
Yes.
Between Indy and Ravenwood.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I'm like,
he was 26 dating a 15-year-old.
yeah, which like 10 years is not like, I mean, 11 years like really isn't a big deal. In after 18, the moment before you're 18, it's absolutely a no. But after 18, then
it's all fair game.
It's all fair game. But I have that every time I'm like, when I hear that line, I'm like, okay, wait, can I carry you to? Does that change Indiana Jones just as a role model, bro?
There actually, if you ever, viewers and listeners, if you ever have time and you want to read the third script for Indiana Jones, so before Last Crusade, it was going to be Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Golden Monkey or something like that. The famous like archaeological dig like in Asia. So that was going to be the movie, but they wrote Indiana Jones in that movie as like a total like douche. Like he was like a sexist, misogynistic. Like he had like two women on his journey, similar to Last Crusade, but he had two women that like were vying for him, and like he was playing both of them. Like it was really like, I'm glad they did not go with that version of Indy. But it's actually like a cool, fun story. Except just the way that they
decided to do the love interest.
Yeah, the way that they did the love interest, and the way that he was like treating when I was like, this is not feel like Indy.
Yeah. Look, I think even if you're 20, let's assume he's 20. You know, he's 26, she's 15. You're still both situation as a 15-year-old. She probably was more mature in the sense of like, whatever, because her dad travels with her.
Yeah.
So like when you go and explore the world, there's a sense of like knowledge that comes in culture, and in some cases, anyways, I'm not saying he was okay, but life happens. And I know of several people had a situation where they liked a younger girl, they had a relationship, separated, then came back later, and they're now married.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, happy ending.
Oh,
that's cute.
All right. Okay. Another loss for Indy. Okay. I mean, the first opening, he freaking loses.
Yeah.
He loses. He worked so hard for that freaking artifact.
And doesn't get it.
He doesn't get it.
But it's so good though. I love it.
It is so rewarding.
Here's a loss as a viewer. Here's what I wish would have happened. Ready? This is not an official rewrite.
Yeah.
But when he's got the freaking bazooka.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And he's aiming it at the Ark. What if he had shot it? What would have happened to the Ark?
Okay, see, that's the thing that I also think is, I 100% was going to say this, because I'm like, he's holding the bazooka. Listen, he doesn't have to like fire it at everybody. Yeah. He just literally has to fire it off like what, 5 feet? People are going to get mortally wounded.
Yeah.
People are going to lose limbs, but like he's already taking people's lives.
Yeah.
Miriam she'd like stepped away. It was by like a rock. She could have taken cover.
Yeah.
Okay. He left her to be in the tent already.
What's shooting a bazooka, right? Like, it's all right.
I mean,
I would have loved to see that.
I mean, because if he's coming after Miriam in this with the Ark already, he's lost the Ark. He left Miriam again to be taken by Bullock and the team for the third time. Right? Because he thought she got killed, which is another loss. Okay. Then he finds her, but then leaves her. So it's not like a loss, but like he's like, yeah, I'll take the L for a little bit longer. Okay. Then they recover. They come back on the submarine. He loses her again.
That's true. Yeah.
Right? And so now he's got the bazooka. He's got the high ground.
Yeah, he's got the high ground.
She's kind of stepped away. She's by a rock.
Boom.
I just don't understand.
Let her rip, man. Let her rip.
Who knows? It would have blown up, and then you couldn't put Pandora's back. Pandora back in her box.
Here's the win. The fact that he survived hanging onto a submarine. for who knows how many hundreds of miles.
Also a win, the fact that he went up against giant German Hulk.
Yeah.
And for like freaking 5 minutes. It was a long sequence.
That was a long sequence. But he held his ground, man.
He didn't get bitten by snakes.
He survived the snakes, yeah.
I don't know how he didn't get bitten by snakes.
Yeah, and they make it, Salah is the one that's like, oh, these are, what were they, asps or something like that? And he's like, these are deadly. But he survived.
Yeah.
He survived.
Those are good wins.
It's huge.
He escaped being trapped with Marion. That's another one.
Yeah.
Good. That's a pretty good win.
They made it home. I mean, they're in the middle of an island and everyone's dead.
Yeah.
How did they get back? Maybe they commandeered the submarine again.
Dude, I could see that. They definitely commandeered a submarine. They're like, all right, look, we got this.
We got this. Marion, you drive it. I'll hang on the outside again all the way to America.
I'll direct. I'll shout down.
I forget every time that like he gets on the submarine and then we just see the little the little line going to the new island, and then he comes out just dredging. I'm like, wait, were you being dragged outside of that the whole time?
What I don't understand is how did they never decide to submerge again?
Right.
They're just like, let's just sail like a freaking boat.
Yeah, I love it.
It's so ridiculous. A loss is he doesn't get a kill Bullock.
Yeah.
That's a big loss in my opinion. But a win, he doesn't die by the monkey, the freaking date.
Yeah, that's true.
That freaking monkey, bro.
Through that monkey. I was reading it. It took 55 takes to get the monkey to do the to do the hill.
What's the budget for this film? That's what I want to know right now. Indiana Jones, really Lost Ark. Go.
Budget was 18 million.
18 million?
1981.
I know. So, okay. Yeah. I think from that movie, they were like, we're charging way more for these animals. They're going to pretend that PETA's over there like, they're gonna fake kill monkeys? I'm sorry, PETA. Don't come after me. No. Do you think that monkey is the same monkey in Pirates of the Caribbean?
No. Not at all.
You think it's a great grandson of that monkey?
Great grandson. What's that monkey's name? Oh, it's Jack. That's right, Jack. Yeah. Oh, the monkey. Freaking monkey. Yeah, 55 takes to get that monkey to salute.
Freaking wild, bro.
That's wild. A little trivia here. Apparently everyone got super sick on set. Every single person of the cast got sick in India. So the scene where they're in the market and they're running around, right? And the guy comes out with, and and he shoots him. So apparently that was going to be a full-on fight scene. But because he was so sick, he just looked at Steven and he said, "What if I just shoot him instead?"
Dude, I'm so glad they did.
And that's what they did with it.
So Indiana Jones.
Yeah. So that was a cool decision to have done the day off, because everyone just had the runs and it was just brutal in that heat and still having to act.
Dude, that would be miserable.
Yeah,
miserable.
All right, I think this has been a great conversation. I love Indiana Jones. I'm excited to talk about Temple of Doom. Super excited to talk about Last Crusade, because that's my all-time favorite. And I have so many opinions on The Last Crusade.
Maybe we should do Last Crusade next and save Temple of Doom later.
Oh, okay.
I'm down with that.
Okay. If anyone feels otherwise, let us know.
Boy, I'm sorry that we rambled on this one just a little bit, but I think part of it is this is an iconic film.
It's a fun film too.
It's a fun, iconic, memorable. This is one of the films that someone's gonna want. They're gonna be sad that we already did it, because that's the one that they impacted.
Oh yeah.
But truly, it's a masterclass in cinematography, in script writing, and the fact that sometimes all you need to do is take something and remix it.
Yeah.
And then and shape it the way you want to shape it. for good or bad.
For good or bad. And this one was definitely for good.
Absolutely.
I love the characterization of, I've said this before, of Indy and just how iconic he's been over the years. And I'm okay with no more Indiana Jones movies. Like, this is one of those movies that, like, if as of time of recording, if Dial of Destiny ends Indiana Jones, I'll be happy. Like, I don't want to recast.
I don't want to recast. You know what I would love? I want a crew I want people to learn how to wait, like a great way to hand off a series and have it be its whole new thing. Even if it's like it's still Jones, like it's like a son or daughter or whatever, and it carries the Jones name.
Dude, I've been saying this for years. Bring back Short Round.
Yes.
Okay. And what's the actor's name? He just won Oscar.
Yeah.
K-Hwan.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, he's a hot commodity right now.
Dude,
bring him back, have him take on the mantle, and just like, for all we know, these past 30 years he's been.
But he became
you know,
an archaeologist,
or even just like a tomb raider, right? He's out raiding tombs and whatnot, and like have him take on the mantle.
You have like spin-offs, like the world is so good, and like you just sprinkle in a couple of cameos here and there in the first one and build it up again.
Yeah, you
got yourself good stuff.
Yeah,
like all I'm saying. We hope you enjoyed this episode. We would love it if you could subscribe to us on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. If you did enjoy our episode, be sure to leave us a review. It really helps us to get discovered. And share with your friends if you find a clip on YouTube or Instagram.
More importantly, what do you think of Raiders of the Lost Ark? We want to hear from you. What's your favorite scene? What don't you like about it? What did we miss? You can always get in touch with us via email at Reel Chums, or connect with us on Twitter, on Instagram, YouTube, at Reel Chums. You can also follow me or Danny, me and Danny. You can only follow one or the other. Sorry.
We can't be friends.
We can't be friends. You're going to follow him. You can't follow me. But you can follow either one of us on Twitter. I'm Marstrosity, MARZTROSITY.
And I'm Rubio_TV or .TV on all the platforms.
Yeah. Okay, join us next week. We're going to continue Indiana Jones. We're going to move forward with The Last Crusade, unless you let us know otherwise. And I'm excited for that one. All of this leading up to Dial of Destiny. Cool. We'll catch you guys next time.